I want to try to salvage these vegetables. While our corned beef is cooking, I thought, well, might as well go ahead and prep what we're going to put into the vegetables. So I've got some purple cabbage. And I've got 2 bell peppers. This bell pepper here may not be worth. I got these for 69 and this for $1.49. And then when I got down in my back, I couldn't use them. So, I won't waste nothing. So we'll just have to check it out. Now the cabbage I bought a few days ago. And I'll just cut that end off of that. Get some of these leaves off of it, and then I'll wash it good so in case there's any little inchworms in there or anything, we'll know. So, but I want to check this stuff first because I won't use nothing that's ruined. Y'all know that. I just don't do it. But like peppers, you can use those. I put them in my bowl, and I'll look through this. There's some good onion. Let's see this here. I've got onion, and this pepper is gone. I'm not going to mess with it since I've got them others. But at least, I gave it a chance. Now on these peppers, there's some black on them. Just take that off. That won't hurt it one bit. If I had I'm going to just use this, probably this part. This part. The rest of this can go. Yeah, you don't want to use anything like this if it had been spongy feeling like those others. If they got these black spots on them, you don't want to use those. See, that's not spongy. That's still pretty good. Let me get my peppercorn. I'll just take that one out. Get that seed out of there. I'll be Gene to get them all over the place. Now, we'll just take this. These are our good ones. Take this. That's not spongy at all there. Rinse my peppercorn, stick her back in the drawer. Maybe a him, I don't know. Probably a him. If it's a peppercorn, it's probably a him, not a her. It's not delicate enough for a her. Well, I'll tell you what I'm going to do here. Let me get my screen door strainer. These pepper seeds will be all over the place. I just cleaned this kitchen good and it'll be all messed up. Not like it'll hurt anything, but I I just don't like having all that stuff to re-clean up, so let's rake them off. Rake them off while I can do it. Get that little more there. Now I can cut these up. Well, I hope y'all had a good Halloweeny. As you know, I went to the nursing facility and then I stopped and decided we would give children the candy. Well, I hear the pressure cooker. It's starting to build up steam. If you hear that, it does that. Once it gets its little bitty gill, its little stopper at the top, it'll quit wishing. The reason I use bell pepper all the time is because it's an antioxidant thing, and I like it. And I used to not like it, but then I decided that it's good for you, and it's not anything but really good for you. I mean, some people might be allergic to it because of the capsaicin in it, but I'm not as allergic to it as with a hot pepper, even though I like the hot pepper. Mother can't stand anything hot, so I don't use hot. I got that out of the screen door strainer and washed. Now we'll put these, let's cut that one. I don't want them real big chunks. That looks more like a fajita cut than it does what we're wanting, so we're going to chop them all in half. I get to talking and then I forget what I'm doing sometimes. Y'all, I went to the chiropractor. He adjusted me. They wouldn't help Mother because she's 92. Got to get a note from her doctor, which, you know, they don't realize with my mother, if I can get her to do anything, she's like an old stubborn mule. She didn't want to go to start with. Then I talked her into going. This was the first one. They said, well, they couldn't help her because she didn't have enough cartilage in between her bones, so therapy wouldn't help her. Only the crack and pop would help her. So then I got her to, they said, okay, go to this other place called The Joint. They just do crack and pop, but that's all that's going to benefit her because the cartilage is so worn out. There's not really anything muscular can be done. So those are red as pimento peppers. They're beautiful. So I finally got her to agree after I put on one of my little silent mad spells. Because sometimes I just get infuriated. I mean, she knows that I am doing everything I can to help her, but she's still got that stubborn streak in her. So I just told her, I said, you know, I'm just going to let you continue to hurt and do whatever you want to, because I can't deal with this and you not realize that I'm doing everything I can to help you. And I just was silent for about an hour. And finally she asked me, well, do you think it's going to rain? I said, I don't know, Mama, it might. So within a little bit, I went ahead and talked to her. I can't not talk to her. She's my mama. But I just can't let her run over me either, because I'm doing everything I can, y'all. And she knows it. So, we went to the chiropractor, the second one. The crack and pop place is what I call it. And they said, well, we can treat you, but we can't treat your mama unless she has a doctor's note. Because she hurt her tailbone recently, and our criteria calls that she has to be released by her medical doctor. So, I just got cracked and popped. Y'all, I'm so much better. This was day before yesterday, I think. It might have been yesterday morning. It was early. But I'm feeling better. And I think y'all can probably hear it in my voice that I'm better. And all that kind of thing. I might as well. I gotta use these yellow squash, so I'm gonna do that. But I'm going to, well, they would be okay if I put them in with the cabbage, but I really like these boiled. I really like these yellow squash boiled. So, I think that I'll go ahead and prep them. I've already washed them. Go ahead and prep them. I hate these videos to be too long though. But a lot of you say you don't care. So, I guess we just won't worry about it, will we? If it's too long, just fast forward it. Y'all heard me say that a million times, haven't you? Well, if you don't like it, just fast forward it. I don't want y'all to get bored. So that's why, and with my video skills, yes, they're getting a little better, but I'm still not no Samuel Goldwyn Mayer. Oh, come here, Squash. Don't be rolling off that cabinet like that. Let me think. I want to put these. I'm just going to go ahead and cut these and just ringlets, I think. Then when I boil them with the onions, which I love boiled buttered squash with fresh onions. They're absolutely a southern delight. Can't get any better. I put a little nutmeg in them. Gives them a little flavor that brings back a lot of memories. I used to make squash casserole all the time. But, see, that's a lot of squash, y'all. But we'll eat it. I mean, I can eat squash like this every meal except breakfast, and I probably could if I had to. So you just cut them squash and ringlets like that. Now you can batter them and fry them, and they're good. You know, fried yellow squash, you cut them up. I do my green tomatoes that way. I just chunk them up and then I fry them, or fried yellow squash. But I like them also. Takes a lot of work to get that sit here, and just like onion rings or anything, it's too much work for me. I can't deal with that. If I had a prep cook again and all that, it'd be different, but I don't, so we're just gonna do it our way. Okay, let me get Granny Pat's pan, and now I'll put just a little bit of this same pepper. I'm gonna put just a little bit of that in here. Gives it just a good flavor. I'm gonna turn that on high, and I think I'll put in a little bit of avocado oil just to saute those peppers, and that'll get it kind of. Let me get an onion. I think I have an onion already that needs to be used. I do. I do. I bought this $1.49 that had lettuce and onions. See, these are still really good. The red onion. And I've been making Mother and I sandwiches since I've been sick because I did not want to. There's a little baby piece. This lettuce, see, that's about 4 or 5 days old and it's still crispy as it can be. And I just keep it in that little thing that gives it to you. Oh gosh, that was loud. So that's what we've been having, is that little bit of salad. And I know a lot of you probably just buy all, oh gosh, I nearly dropped my onion. Y'all buy fresh, probably don't do the sale, but I have to, because I don't like wasting food, for one thing. When I see all these little kids starving to death, I'm not going to sit there and waste food. And it was just the way I was brought up. You do not waste anything like that. Plus, it cuts down on our food bill. You know, food is not cheap. And so I do the best that I can for Mother and I. Just cook that on down to that. A little salt. Go ahead and put on the salt. A little pepper. Turn that down a little bit. We just drop our squash down in there. And that'll make a large pan, but I'm going to tell you, I always kind of just stir it around so just a little, they kind of get a little oil. Now when that's all cooked fully and creamed up, just sit there. When that's cooked really good and creamed, oh, it's so good because you put cream in it. I do. But instead of adding water to mine, I take this 33% less sodium. So that'd be about two squash. Let me see, about two squash. And let's try a cup, but I think, you don't have to use full broth. You can use a cup of broth, and you can use, I'm going to use probably 2 cups of broth. Okay, then I'll use, you can use 2 cups of broth, 2 cups of water, or 2 cups of broth, 1 cup of water. Now, that'll keep it from just using plain old water in it. You can get that, see where that's brown, that squash, you just let that steam and boil. You still got a cup, well maybe a half cup. I'm going to take a little dollop of my garlic and put in here, just because about a teaspoon, just because I like garlic, and it is an anti-inflammatory and everything. And I just use that little chopped garlic. If I don't want to chop it, I've got it. Okay, we're going to let them boil down and I'll be back. Okay, I decided to check the squash. Corned beef is, I can smell it cooking. Now there's your squash cooking down. They're getting a little bit cooked down there. But right now, I need to get my big bowl. I had put my flour there. Now I use those Shiny Best homestyle cornbread most all the time. I love that recipe and it's on my site a million times. This was a Shawnee, Oklahoma is where they make this cornmeal. And I love it. You can make it with, you can use, I'm going to turn that little squash down to about a 4. Now they don't use flour into their cornmeal, but I do because I just want to, and that's to each his own, you know. I probably put about I'm going to use a cup. That's about a cup of my home ground flour. And then I follow the recipe, but I put it on my recipe that I post with the flour. I'll put that in there so you know. Okay, the camera cut off, but that's okay. We cut it right back on. I'll just go ahead and let them cook on down. I went in there and got my Shawnee cornmeal. So I'm going to use 2 cups. 2 cups of cornmeal. Okay, to that I've added let me get my little recipe. 2 cups of Shawnee cornmeal and then my 1 cup of home ground flour. We're going to try it. Now that King Arthur flour I've checked on my order that has the aluminum-free baking powder in it, unbleached, is going to be here this weekend, so we'll try biscuits next week. I know y'all are sick of my biscuit, trying to make biscuits and all that, but it's something I want to do, and if you want to follow along, but if you don't want to watch about biscuits, just don't watch the video. That's all I'm going to tell you. So now I'm going to mix that good, but then I've already measured out my homemade baking powder. So I'm going to put, since I added that cup of flour, because the recipe calls for 4 teaspoons, well I'm going to add 5 teaspoons because I added that cup of flour. Now mix that in good, because I've told y'all to make your batter bitter, your bread bitter. And I wanted this a little, because I'm going to use our new muffin pan. I was going to put it in the skillet, but I thought, you know, let's use our little muffin pan we got. Now, it calls for 2 eggs. I'm putting 3 eggs because I added the cup of flour. So I've got to incorporate to make up for that over. Now I don't mix them beforehand. I just get them in my batter and mix it around, and then I'm gonna add, let's see, add 1.5 cups of milk. So I'm gonna add 3 cups to overdo this. You know what I may do is just add the 1.5 cups. Then I can add the hot water that I say is a savior for the cornbread. So we'll just follow that just like the recipes I posted. Pretty sure that will. So that's wet enough. We've got to then go ahead and do that. Now we want about 1.5 teaspoons of salt. There's 1.5 there. And make sure we got everything in it. Shortening cornmeal, 2 cups. I added 2 cups of shortening cornmeal. I added 1 cup of flour, 4 teaspoons of baking powder. I put in 5. 1.5 teaspoons of salt. I left it at that. 1.5 cups of milk. I left it at that. Instead of 2 eggs, I put 3. And now I've got to have 2 tablespoons of melted shortening. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use my avocado oil. And 1, 2. Okay. There. Now that'll gloss it up a little bit. Now, if I was going to cook that in the skillet, I would go ahead and justify that by adding my water. Some water. I wouldn't add a lot, but I think it's okay. We're going to try it in our, what I'm going to do is I'm going to spray our muffin tins, just so that I don't think I'll have no trouble with them, but we're gonna make sure we move it over, and maybe stir that. Just lay that down. I need to stir that cornmeal. Squash. Let me go ahead. Get me a cup of, I'm just going to dip this into these deals. I'm not going all the way to the top. Because I put that baking powder in there, so they'll probably go up to the top. And I'll have a little left over, which is fine. Let me clean my little mess up. Get this, I always keep this off of here. I don't like that messing up. Let me get one of my little little rags. I'll rub that grease off there, just so it don't mar the pan up. Okay, let me get them in the oven, convection oven. Y'all know I told you I use those Marie Callender little metal pans you get. So I'm just going to spray that. And I'm going to dip the rest of this cornbread into that little pan. So that I don't have to waste it. Grandmother used to do this, y'all. I remember, and I've heard her talk about, she would make little pans. If she had cornbread left over, she'd put it in these little pans. And then when the hobos would come by, she'd fix them a meal to go of red beans and one of these little pans of cornbread. This just reminded me of hearing her talk about the hobos that would come and sit out on the back porch. Mama remembers it. And eat food, and then off they'd go. But we'll put this in our oven with the other, and we'll have a little pan of cornbread in case a hobo comes by. I'd sure feed them. Yes, I would. I sure would. Now, let me get this and see. Now, I'll tell y'all what, I don't know if one of y'all dresses up as a hobo and tries to come up here and eat. Y'all just have to ask, but wouldn't put it past some of you to say, I'm a hobo, can you feed me? I'd feed you. I really would. I really would. It doesn't matter to me what. Even though I'm from the South and Southern, I don't care what anybody is or what they believe or any of that. My daddy always said, we all eat and we all bleed the same. So, that's just the way it goes. Let's check our squash, y'all. Forgot. Look here. Look at that, it's a squash. Now we want that really. Let's take that out. Take out a squashy. Oh, still needs to cook a little longer. It's not tricking in the spoon. So, okay, y'all, I'll be back. And then I'll cook it. I'm going to turn that back up and cook it about another 10 minutes. Because I want those brines, peelings, hulls, peelings. Cook down. Okay, we'll be back. Okay, let's check our squash. It's been cooking for quite a bit. And I've just turned it off and letting it sit there. But you can tell that that's going to be fine. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to, let's put this aside and let's check our corn muffins first. Let me get that. Didn't know they were going to go off. Let me get them out of the oven. Now, there's some corn muffins, y'all. If you like corn muffins, of course, you know I get one of my little toothpickies and I make sure that they're done all the way through. And they are. But what we need to do now, well, there's still, you can take your spray and spray them, or you can do butter. And I'm going to put our little pan over here. Okay, let me get the butter. Now, I just want to put a little on top of that and glaze them. Just make them glazy. Gives them a good flavor. Brings out that brown color. You can see it coming out when we butter them. That just makes them better, I think. I don't know anything that ain't better than butter. Even though a lot of people, I don't use margarine, or my sister, she calls it shed spread. It's that fake is all get out butter, and I won't use it, and I haven't never. Okay, we've got those, so we can set them. There's our muffins, y'all. We've got those. So I want you to see that, since we got them out. I'll set those over and let them cool. Now we'll go back to our squash. That's a squash medley. That's what it's gonna make sure it's. I like my squash to have just a little bit, so I'm gonna turn that on just a hair. And I'll get me a little cornstarch. I think I'll just use my cream. I've got plenty of cream and I don't need it. But first, let me go ahead and turn that. Let me get my I want to just squish those. I just want to squish them. I cooked them too long, but they look good. They smell good. They will be good. I just use that little old masher. And let me get that up. I'm going to put a little cream in them. I want it to get kind of boil. I'm going to put that little bit, not even a fourth a cup, probably. About a fourth a cup of cream. And that just finish off that good squash, I let it kind of boil a little bit. Now this is when you can taste it. Need salt, of course we need salt. Need more pepper. I can't ever get enough salt and pepper in my. Now that's some good creamed squash, y'all. Creamed yellow squash, and this had the bell pepper. You don't have to use them. That's good, y'all. Yeah, that's some good creamed squash. We'll just let it boil just a minute. I just let it boil just a minute. That pretty? That good looking, y'all? There you go. Now, we'll cut that off. That's ready to eat. I'm just going to put my lid back, cattywampers on there. Kinda. It won't hurt to stay on there. Okay, I got our little Hobo cornbread out too. And then I got our muffins out of the pan. So we'll set Hobo over here. It's good cornbread. And beef. Now I'm going to make these all into small videos. Shorter videos, so that it won't take up so much of your time. So let me get one of the blue Danube plates and cut a little of this corned beef off for Mother. Now this is rested, so this is going to be a good corned beef because it's rested. I've let it rest. We'll put that on our, put that little piece there. Now then, let me get a little, my little spideries. I'm going to get just a little cabbage, purple cabbage. See, there's your purple cabbage. Then we'll get a spoon and drain some of our squash with our nutmeg on it. Now that may need a little more salt on it. And I've got the cornbread muffins, and I'll probably give her just the back half. So that's what we're having: corned beef, cabbage, boiled squash, and cornbread muffins. Now that's, most people make the corned beef and cabbage for St. Patrick's Day. I love it all year long. I've ate it all my life all year long. I just haven't eaten it in a while. So that's what we're having. And I'm going to do the videos with the corned beef and the cabbage, and then I'll show you how to do the squash, and I'll show you how to do the cornbread. So they won't be so long. I sure hope y'all have a good weekend. We're just going to be here like we normally are. God bless you. God bless us. God bless the United States. And I do really wish y'all was here to eat with us, because this is going to be a rib sticking meal, as they say. Bye-bye.